Yeah, I'ma kill you in a second if I have to. Use my mind as a weapon when I blast through. Put the basics in the basement, no need to ask you.
Let time do its thing. We gon' be right here. Let time do its thing. We gon' be right here.
All right, sweet. So first episode, fellas, we've got going to talk about today is how to survive your first 12 months in the industry as a personal trainer by not making these simple but very common mistakes. First of all, guys, I guess give yourself a quick intro. Start with you, Nate.
Oh, me first. See, me first, Richo last. Well, obviously, guys, my name's Nathan. Everyone calls me Nate. I've been doing this for 12 years. Everything wrong that could possibly be done, I've done it. So you're going to learn a lot of what not to do in this and hopefully fast track a lot of where you want to be right now. I'm a sole trader. I don't own my own business in terms of a studio or a gym, nor do I have a desire to. So that's where I'm going to bring a different kind of perspective to this, because most people want to go from themselves to having employees to studio to gym to they want to escalate up that chain. I do not want to have any employees in this regard. So you're going to get a bit different insight from me on that.
Nice one. Richo.
Perfect. My name's Richo, and I've been a personal trainer for 10 years now. I did it straight out of high school. I just left Good Life after 7 years, which we're going to talk a bit more about because in my 7 years stint there, I saw 253 personal trainers come and go. But my specialty is sports strength and conditioning. Currently the head Australian strength and conditioning coach for the gridiron scene. And I guess my passion now is obviously still personal training and athletes, but just helping PTs, because I've seen so many of them fail and so many of them have been good people and they just haven't had the right guidance. So I'm pretty excited to help everyone to succeed. So let's do it.
Nice. And I guess for those watching, my name is Chris. So my background is I've been in the industry for about 16 odd years as a PT and in many other roles within the fitness industry. So much like these blokes, seen and made a lot of mistakes and seen what works on a big scale, from whether you're in a PT studio to a sports specific or an athlete facility to the commercial gym setting. So hopefully for those that are going to be watching this, the things you're going to learn is how not to suck at being a fitness professional, I guess. And by learning about the mistakes we've all made, hopefully you don't need to make them. And by cutting through a lot of the bullshit that is out there that's been flogged off by a bunch of people that maybe haven't had the success that they're trying to achieve for you. So let's start with this one, guys. I mean, we're all commercial gym background guys. I had my own studio / facility at a period of time too, but for the most part, it's been a commercial gym setting. Pros and cons, guys. I could kick off on that one for a while, but let's start with you on this one, Richo. What do you think the pros and cons are between a commercial gym setting and going it alone?
The pros are you're buying the membership base. So your rent, covers facilities and that, but it covers the membership base. Like Good Life in its prime had 4,500 members. You don't even need to advertise. You got 4,500 people. You can run a successful business without advertising once. You wouldn't even have to have an Instagram or Facebook, and you can have a successful business when you have access to 4,500 people. So obviously that's one of the biggest pros. The second one is they've already been pre-screened. You already know they want to go exercise. You already know they want results. Otherwise, they wouldn't have joined a gym. They're obviously, normally when you go into a big commercial gym, there's trainers that have been there for a long time. So hopefully you're going to learn a lot from some of the mature trainers that are in there as well. Obviously, that's just three off the top of my head. If any of you guys have any other...
Oh, they're the best ones though, Richo. Bang on the money, mate, is that you're operating a business inside of a business that's job is to bring clients to you. Nath, you've just mentioned before that's where you've specialised in also, in that you don't really...
Well, Richo's very right. I mean, when you work at a commercial gym facility, you are not paying for the gym and the equipment, because I'm pretty sure any trainer who's in the industry now listens to this could always think their gym needs better equipment, all right? And we've all said it.
Yeah.
You're paying for the leads. You're paying for the access to the database. If you can't get that, you're in the wrong gym, plain and simple. the best thing about it, obviously, besides access to the database and the fact that everyone's pre-qualified, is the fact that your overheads are very, very, very low. I mean, you'll hear trainers all the time complain about the fact that they've got to pay $250, $300, $350 plus, depending if you're in, CBD, Sydney, Melbourne or whatever. But you've got to take that in context. Like if you want to go out and open your own facility, you've got to pay for leases, lighting, marketing, everything like that. And if you're a brand new person, that's a lot of overhead with no clients.
Yeah.
I mean, you're getting off very, very easy. And in some of these cases, these commercial gyms give you a couple of weeks free.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't get that on a lease. Fuck, you pay me.
My first one was $4,400 a month.
Yeah.
And my
exactly.
It was 3 by 3 years.
Yeah. And
go ahead.
And there's no weeks off on that.
No.
There's no, I'm going on holiday, I'm going on my honeymoon, can I have a week off? It's your landlord to think you're crazy.
Yep. And there's no team
so
of
it's a
people.
very good starting place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think
it's a great starting place.
We're all massive advocates of this, is that if you can't make it as a personal trainer in a commercial gym setting, it's not for you.
100%.
Plain and simple.
Hands down.
If you dream or have ambitions of owning your own studio or your own franchise at some stage, do the first 12 months in a commercial gym to cut your teeth. And I think the amount of business or fitness business lessons you'll learn in that time is invaluable. I also recommend people, if you're in a Cert 3 or Cert 4 stage of your career, you're going through the actual education side, if you can land a job in a gym, in a sales environment, in a reception environment, anywhere, I think that pays it off massively too, because it's the skills you learn in sales, lead gen, marketing, are all totally transferable across to when you actually take that step to be a PT.
Yeah, and can I just add something to that? This is something I haven't done, but it's something I've taken from someone successful. If your gym will allow you to do it, you need to have people working for you while you're still under their banner. And then you can take that out and take those people out with you, because you need to know what it's like to manage people. Because once you have the business itself, this is the exact reason why I don't want one, is because I don't want to give up the whole validation and I got all the results and I want to be the expert. Once you have that facility, you are no longer the expert. You have to pass that flag on to your other trainers. You can't be all of the hats.
Yeah, that's true.
You have to give other stuff off. So if you don't want to give other stuff off, and I've been doing this for 12 years and I still don't open your own facility. You're signing your own death warrant.
Yeah. I agree, mate. And the other thing on that is, and this is something that I'm also banging on about, is build a network. Like you just said, you don't have to be the master of everything. As a personal trainer, if you understand, the other allied health roles, that's all you need to do is understand them and then refer on. You've got to build a network of people around. I'm one of these guys that go, well, I'll never build a house, but I can build a brick wall. Therefore, I understand what it takes to build a brick wall. Then I'll know whether my builder's doing a good job or not. But I'm never going to be that builder. So I'll understand how the human body moves beyond what a PT needs to know. But then I'll send it over to a physio who that is what they do. Yeah. So being a contractor PT, as you just said, you don't need to know everything. But if you can build that network around you, you can still have a massive business. Now, if you've built some pretty solid relationships with other allied health professionals, where are they sending their people that have moved beyond their treatment stage and they're into their maintenance or improvement further from there?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. And that can obviously take time to find people who you like, to build trust,
100%.
To basically leverage those relationships. I mean, don't go to the first massage therapist you see and try to strike up some
No, just like anything, isn't it? You do your due diligence. You start conversations. You go meet with them. You go see them as a client yourself. I think most of us probably use the same people. We'll get into this in a later episodes, but I think we pretty much use the same crowd without even knowing it, because we attract to people that are like-minded and they get great results, but all obviously on the same level. They're at a service-based level before they're worrying about maximising profit and income. That comes, but if they've got the right attitude, the right mindset, they're going to attract that right crowd anyway. So on this point, how to survive your first 12 months by not making common mistakes, commercial gym's the way to go?
Look, Richo?
Yeah, as in what, sorry? As in not making...
I was saying that on the first point of how to survive your first 12 months, it's a pretty strong argument that if you can get into one, get involved with a commercial gym, yeah?
100%.
Yeah, commercial gym or an employee in a studio, something like Vision, where they actually
Yep.
Do everything for you, show up and do the work.
Yep. I mean, on that one there, I've always had a bit of a different view on that. Is the way I look at it is, I mean, I was fortunate. The cost of my PT course pales in comparison to what it is now, but I've had people that have come and spent 8 to 10 grand on their Cert 4, and they come in asking for a job. 15, $20 an hour, and I just look and go, you just invested 8 to 10 grand, and you want an hourly rate.
Yeah, but some people need that.
Yeah, that's true. If the system is there and they can progress through, not just turn up 9 to 5, but it's an hourly rate while they grow. Maybe that employee says, "Well, we'll pay you X per hour to do these service our clients," but there's a system to elevate to get further improvement in education.
Some people only want to be employees. There's probably no real problem with that. You just have to know that the less risk, the less cash flow comes your way as such.
Yeah, true that. Yep, that's cool. I'm not against it for a first 12-monther either, especially if they've got ambition to go on.
I'm not against it after that either, though. Do you mean? I think, like you said, regardless of what your end goal is, I think we all agree that you should definitely spend your first 12 months there. But there's nothing to say you can't have a long-term successful business out of the commercial setting without having to open. And I've obviously been in the industry for 10 years. I looked to open my own facility. I looked to do everything that we've talked about here. The thing with opening your own facility is the way that gyms are so advanced now is the facility that you can open up has to somehow be on par. And the problem is, if you've got places like EMF for $20 a week with altitude chambers, swimming pools, boxing rooms, 1,000 group fitness classes, you can't keep up with that. So how can you open a little specialty gym and charge more than $20 a week? You can't. And then if you've got to try and play the numbers game, you got to do a $10 membership.
Yeah.
But then you've got to play the numbers game. So all of a sudden, you've outlaid $100+ for equipment, setup. That's not even including the rent that we talked about that you can't get out of.
Yeah,
this is your initial investment of $100 set up minimum. That's going to get you a pretty average, like all right setup.
$100K pretty base level, that's for sure. Yeah.
Not much out of the ordinary for $100K. And then all of a sudden your overheads are through the roof, and you've got to drum up all your own business yourself.
Yeah.
So the added stress and the added hours for the return on it after you take away your $100+ startup and all your massive overheads now, because now your rent's a lot more. To me, it's the added stress is just and the amount of income it gives you compared to the stress is not that much more than what you'd have if you worked out of a commercial gym anyway.
Dude, when I jumped in on mine, that's, pride kept me in there longer than I needed to be. But as soon as I left it, I remember just kicking myself in the ass going, why did I leave? And I think at the time through Zest, it was about $180 a week as a PT was your rent. So I went from knocking down $180 a week in this environment doesn't work for me to $1,100. Oh, this is awesome. It's my own joint. No.
I'd take 180 if you can just tell AMF that'd be fantastic.
Say again?
I'd take 180 a week if you could just tell EMF that'd be good.
Oh, could you imagine these days? People would still bitch about it. People would still cry about it.
Oh, people do, but that's okay because it's always going to happen. People got something to have a crack about.
Yeah.
But I lost my train of thought after I was listening to Richo talk about 180 a week. I got all excited. It's always going to happen. I mean, people are going to want to move on to bigger and greater things, but we're here in terms of PT performance. We're not here in terms of how to go from taking a facility to X amount of members to X amount because we haven't done it. We can only talk on the experience we've had.
Let me ask you guys, where do you think this negativity towards jumping in and being a part of a commercial gym setting comes from? Do you think it's from some of the models of the bigger chains where they do throw 30 at the wall and see who sticks? Do you think it comes from some of the course providers that paint this picture that in your first year you'll earn $100,000 or more? Like, where do you think this?
Me first.
Yeah,
me. All right.
Let's go.
I think a lot of this stems from a couple of things that you just said, but the main thing that I think, and you boys can tell me if I'm wrong or not, is that when people jump in to become a personal trainer, often in a subcontractor role, as in you run your business within a business, this is the first time they have actually had to fork out any money and run their own business.
Yep.
So there's a very fine line between being an employee of the brand you work for, but also wanting to be the big man or the big girl and running your own business inside it.
Yep.
So they want to have all the perks of running their own business, but when they get asked to pay for stuff, well, that's not what I signed up for.
Yep.
So I think it's really a lot of us. It's just that it's our first taste of what it's like to actually be a business owner. And this is the negativity that comes as a natural progression, a part of that.
Cool. Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, or if you need to add to that.
No, I think that plays a big role.
And I think 100%, and just touching on that is most people do their PT course because they go, well, I like fucking working out. I like training. I look pretty good. That's what I want to do for a living. Instead of being a tradie for 60 hours a week and having to come to the gym afterwards knackered, or you'd say, you know what, that's what I'm going to do. Well, it's $70 an hour. How good's that? That's going to be so easy. And they get sold on the idea of being a trainer, but they don't realize that you're not just a trainer. You're also a salesman. You're also a businessman. They get sold on the 1/3 aspect of it, and they think that's all they need to survive.
100%.
And then because your average is only 6 to 12 months, that's why the gyms get a bad rep, because most people do start their 6 to 12 months in a commercial setting. Yep. So that's obviously touching on Nate's point. I think that's what adds to it as well, is that they get sold and whether that's the courses selling them that, or whether that's what they have in their head, a bit of both, probably, definitely. That's why they fail, and that's why they blame it on the gym, because they thought they were just going to be able to walk in, say, hey, I'm a trainer, I look good. Come train with me, and everyone was just going to jump up and down and go, fuck, we've been waiting for you to do this.
So a bit of a lack of that education at the start. Again, whether it's from a education provider or whether it's from the trainer themselves doing their own homework before jumping in on this career. Like I use similar analogies all the time, man. A brickie doesn't go, hey, listen, man, I want to go build houses. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go pick up a pile of bricks now, and then I'm going to have a mansion in 3 months that I can then sell for $1 million, and then I've made it. You know what I mean? They've got to do their apprenticeship. They've got to sweep up dust. They've got to carry the wheelbarrow. They've got to get smoko for the boss. They've got to do all that way before they even get to pick up the trowel and start laying bricks down. You know, I think
it's not like that. It's not like that in ours. Exactly. It's not like it's completely different like context.
Yep.
I get exactly what you're saying, but there is no regulated stepping stone to you must do this before you do this.
Yeah, and that's my point, is that I think that where I see, since I've been around, is not all, but most of the personal trainers that etch out a serious income and a serious career from being a professional personal trainer get to a point where they go, I'm not telling this young fellow what's going on. I'm going to keep this to myself because it's my business and I'm rolling, you know? So when you have a look around, if you look at most of the personal trainer coaches or mentors that are out there now, most of them have achieved a mediocrity or a better than average fitness business result before they then decide to go and become an expert, coach others how to get there. I don't know many guys that have made a PT that are like a legitimate high 6-figure income earners from being a personal trainer that are now passing it down to the next mob, right? So the ones that are teaching them steps. Huh?
I'd also love to find out what qualifies these guys as PT experts. I mean, that's what cracks me up, is by no means are any of us three saying that. We're just 3 guys who've been around a long time who want to help the new people.
100%.
That's how we roll. Never do we sit here and go, we're the fitness professionals, we're the perfect experts, and we've been doing this.
But we're willing to have that conversation. That's a good thing. We're willing to have that chat and say, guys, we've seen. Well, look, I've seen guys that are technicians. You know, they know their body inside and out. They can get massive results for their people. The problem is they don't know how to get people. You know what I mean? And they end up washed up within months because they weren't able to articulate what they do for a living. They weren't able to attract people to prove what they could do and get those results. On the other hand, we've all seen people that do that extremely well. They market very professionally. They understand lead gen. They can do an online package very well. But then when it comes to picking up the tools, they're average at best. So they attract all these leads, but they struggle to keep any of them past some base minimum engagement, purchased by the client.
I know of 2 studios. Actually, I know of 3, but I'll mention 2 because one of them's an asshole. I know of 2 both based out of Melbourne, that are very high figure earning studios, not gyms. And they actually give courses and mentorships and stuff like that. So one of them is called Body Seek and the other one's called Enterprise Fitness. Both of them have a lot of people on staff. Both of them have courses that they actually offer. Yep. And both of them now offer business mentorship things, not like one-on-one as like a group setting, because otherwise they'd be too busy.
And dude,
they have a reputable amount of track record with results, but also with cash.
Yep. And I don't know about the other one, but Enterprise I've been following since about 2008. That's
Mark's
10
a
years,
good dude.
10 years that guy's been doing, that's 10 years that guy's been putting in that extra education for trainers.
Yeah, like a lot. And Mark's got the track record. He's very transparent with a lot of his stuff when you get in there. Body Seek, his name's Tim Deegan. He was a student of Mark's and he's now gone out. Seen him flourish. Like, I'm sure there's many, many more, right? But just guys who are actually reputable, who will who walk the talk. They're the two that I know of that aren't full of shit.
Yeah, and it brings it back to they understand the aspect, the service aspect, and like you just said, they give a shit. You know, they actually want to see the industry grow. They've taken out the ego and the pretentiousness of like, I know I'm doing well because I know more than you. It's more like, no, there's no secret. Here's how it works. And if you do these things consistently and you do them well, your business will grow as a result. You know,
It's true.
Nice. Okay. Here's another one that I think PTs struggle with, and they do it, not all, but a lot of them do it the wrong way because there is no established criteria of success with this thing is social media. Okay. Again, you've got a good rig as a PT, you know, and that's what a lot of PTs throw all over their social media. You know, a lot of them make it about them themselves rather than sharing their clients' wins and losses, their own losses. It's always about wins. Guys, what are your thoughts on how the current state of affairs for a rookie PT, someone within their first 12 months on social media?
Richo?
Mate, look, I'm going to be honest, I'm not the greatest with social media.
Me either.
And again, look, as much as I know that's the way the world's trending, I actually, in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be brushing on that up. I've just got friends start helping me out with that sort of thing. But again, I'm in a commercial setting with 3,000 members. So, but look, I think the biggest thing which I've just realised now is it's just about content. Just trying to, if you're, everyone has their specialty. Everyone has something that they definitely know and that they specialise in. And start putting content out on that and see how things evolve from there. I think just people will appreciate you giving them good content, not just Sorry, I need to clarify. You will get true followers if you put out good content. You will get a lot of followers if you train a lot of people naked.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Look, I have under 1,000 followers, so I'm not the man to listen to. I think Facebook's even less. It's like 300. So I'm not the man to listen to about how to grow your profile or be an online trainer or anything like that. I get all my clients through my gym and through referrals. Straight up.
Yep.
The only thing I'll say on social media is that you need to put out stuff that, number one, you're good at, number two, you're true at. So for me, all my social media stuff is now videos of me either doing some training stuff, videos of me ranting about shit like I do here, some client stuff, and maybe some general life stuff.
Yep.
If you have to ask yourself the question of, is this what people want to see rather than this is what I want to put up, then you're being a fake moron and you need to stop. Because
nailed it.
most of the people that we follow that we know have really good social media profiles, maybe let's say 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 followers and stuff, they get a lot of traction. That's fantastic. The stuff you write is not how you talk, and you're a fake moron. I see right through you. I want nothing to do with you. And that's exactly why the turnover of clientele is staggering.
Yep.
There's a trainer in my gym, won't name him, fakest person I know, the fakest, has about 60 to 70 sessions a week, all half hours, 45 minutes. Good on him. Can talk, can throw the gab. Unfortunately, I see his turnover of new people every 2 weeks. You know why? Because people realize he's full of shit very, very, very quickly.
100%.
All you have to do is be yourself, be genuine, take your craft very, very seriously, and I'm sure the result's going to come. I think it's Gary Vaynerchuk that preaches patience.
Yep.
I don't have a lot of it. I'm very, very bad at it. But in this social media game, I'm not going to put up shirtless photos of myself. I do. I very much do. But I'm not going to put up shirtless photos of myself just to get clients and say stuff like, now taking on clients, DM me. Fuck off.
Yep. And listen, guys.
No one buys it.
No one does. And, I'm 39 this year. So for me, social media has always been Facebook to talk a bunch of shit with all my football crowd that are around Australia and family overseas, right? So I didn't get Instagram except for it being an app to make cool photos with, right? What started to switch that for me to understand how it works properly is by listening to, your Andy Frizellas, your Gary Vaynerchuk and so on. And once I sort of made the connection that your social media is going to be your resume moving forward, that's where I started to look at it and go, okay, well, what do I want on my resume? What do I want people to see and understand about who I am? Another tip that I heard was to keep it real, raw, and relevant. So real is because it's what you would say in a conversation. So the things I post and the topics I discuss, we would have that chat. Okay?
Yeah.
I would also make that it was raw. So it's things that people are going to get some sort of emotional connection to, either that makes me mad, or, oh yeah, man, I'm really switched on that. Okay, and relevant it has to be relevant to either our industry or our time or what we're doing today. Okay, so I looked at it and went, another thing was from Gary was document, don't create. Yeah, so we're not creating shit. Like
that's good.
Nate, you're not sitting there
That's
going,
great. I like that.
Yeah, just document what you're doing. It's not like, oh, what should I do? What if I write it this way? What am I trying to get out of this post? It's like right now I'm thinking about most mornings when I go to work is when I've got a 6-minute drive. Okay, I'm pretty fortunate. It's not that far to go to work.
But you know what? That couldn't be more fucking relevant to our industry, because I am so fucking sick of seeing people standing on Busu balls on their heads, doing banded booty calls, booty fucking...
Don't start with the banded booty videos, mate.
But,
great contrary, man. You owe the world a favour, man. You've created a monster.
Because that's exactly what everyone's doing now. Everyone's creating. Like, you watch all these videos taking on clients and they're doing jump ropes under their arms. It's like, how are you periodizing that into someone's training? That's not something that you actually give to anyone ever. That's something you're doing with your top off for show, and you're creating all this bullshit to say, look at my wicked training. And it's probably a session you've never done in your entire life. But
100%.
like you said, that's why I really like that document instead of creating, especially for our industry, because I feel like at the moment everyone's going, well, what the fuck can we create that's going to turn heads?
Yeah,
and it's starting to go away from results and results and education. It's not now about what fucking fancy made up shit can I do now.
And it's exactly right. And the stories and the part of social media, the good thing about it is you can use it to show people what you're like as a person, so they can engage with you before they even come and do business with you. Kind of what Nate just touched on before. Old mate, whoever you're talking about, his social media game is strong. He gets a lot of people in, but when they get to know him, they're not interested anymore. I'd rather flip it the other way. I'd rather people know who I am first, and then we engage, then we understand each other. Then when we end up getting to a point where we're going to do business together, there's no shock when I call them out for being a piece of shit. There's no shock when I call them out for being lazy or not for doing what they're supposed to do. They already know that's what I'm like, and they've come along for that ride, So I think that's pretty much where we need to be at, is real, raw, and relevant. Show them who you are. Document, don't create. And if people drop off, great. They're never going to be your client anyway. The ones that stick around, they're the ones you're going to be doing business with, or you just enjoy being around them.
Yeah, perfect. Social media is just a conversation we probably need to get someone who has an actual tangible system involved in, because otherwise we're just going to sit here just tearing everybody apart and not giving any actual relevant information. People are just going to switch.
Let's go back to the commercial gyms, and like I said, let's talk about what people do wrong. Because like I said, I saw 253 personal trainers come and go in 7 years.
God, that's a number.
That's
which
crazy.
Is absurd. Absolutely absurd. And I'll tell you right now, the number one reason personal trainers in a commercial gym fail is because they're fucking lazy.
Yep.
And look, there's two sides of this coin. There are people that are lazy, and there are some people who, and there's nothing wrong with this, but there are some people who are just meant to work 9 till 5.
Yep.
for someone else. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing, it's not like, oh, look, you can't do this. You should just go back there. There's nothing wrong with that. But you'll very quickly learn starting a commercial gym if you're one of those people or not. Because I'll tell you right now, most of those 253 people, they didn't, it's not like they were in there 60 hours a week. And the big one I'll tell you right now is people, when they first start, I say to them, you've got to be in here 40 hours a week. Even if when most people are starting, they don't even have a single session. But to me, you've got to be in there 40 hours a week. You've got to be seen in there. You've got to be doing all your bookwork in there. Because when you're there to work.
Can't sell a secret.
Most people go in, do their 5 hours, and then fuck off home and go fuck off home for the day. And they go, why isn't my business getting any better? Why aren't I getting any more clients? They come in, have one client at 5 p.m., do their one client, they go back home. And then they're going, why is my business growing? I just don't understand it.
And then you flip to their social media, and they're the ones having 7-hour lunch breaks hanging at the beach because, fit pro life or whatever. 100%, man. We know the type. So there's no work ethic, man. There's no work ethic.
Laptop at the cafe, doing my programming.
Doing programs for my client.
Yeah. That's to me, that's the biggest thing. And it's just they just need to start being accountable to themselves and looking at it realistically. Like if you go to a 9-to-5 job and you only work for 5 hours, you only get fucking paid for 5 hours for that week. You're not going to get paid for the 40-hour week.
Yep.
You've got to be there. You've got to be doing. You have to look at it like you're getting paid for it at the start, because eventually that's what you're going to be getting is paid for it, because that's those hours you put in at the start on your business building, on your programming, on taking complimentary sessions, off helping people off the floor, off databases, off just being seen at the gym all the time. That's what builds your business, not sitting at home on the fucking couch playing Call of Duty.
Richo, quickly, how many times have you been on the gym and been approached by a non-client and that they've then gone on to become a client?
So many times.
What about you, Nate?
Probably this year alone, it's end of February, 3 times this year.
How many times have you been in a PT lunchroom or out at a cafe or on your lounge room with your laptop and been approached by a prospective client?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And this is the thing, because I have my bunch, and this is why I work with them as well, is you can't sell a secret. So if they don't know you're available, they're not going to come to you. I use the nightclub analogy. I used to bounce for a while, and there's 3 main types. There's the annoying drunk that flutters around, and by the end of the night, it's either getting kicked out or dragged out. And they're in everyone's face. Look at me, look at me. There's the mysterious brooding type that likes to sit in the dark corner at the bar and thinks that this mysterious look is going to attract all the action their way. And then there's a third one that's generally guy or girl. They're the ones having fun with their friends. They're just enjoying being there and the music and the presence. And they're usually the ones that attract the positive attention. It's very similar to the gym floor. You got the one that's going around going, I'm the best PT, I'm the best PT. And yeah, they get some attention, but it doesn't last. You got the mysterious ones that sit at the counter, or they sit in the lunchroom and just wait for the door to knock or someone to come up and say, hey, I need a PT. Or you got the one that's just having fun. They're out there, they're helping members, they're talking to other PTs, they look fun, they look like they get results, and they're usually the ones that attract the inquiries, not counting the ones that they go source for themselves.
Where else do we think people are going wrong in the first 12 months? To me, that's the biggest one, is just they're just not putting in the time.
Yeah.
Like you say, I guess that's the apprenticeship. The apprenticeship is doing the hours there when you're not getting paid.
Yep.
It's seeing what the other trainers are doing. It's training yourself and having people notice you. Look, I guess some of the other pitfalls, I guess, is, like I said, the biggest one is people think that they can get away with just being a trainer and not being good at sales and not be a businessman. Yep. I think that's another one of the biggest ones. Like I said, exactly like you said before, I think it's you and Nate or Mooney, is some of the best craftsmen in the industry that you've seen, but they can't articulate to their clients. But not even that, they can't get any clients because they've got no personality.
Yep.
Or they don't know how to sell themselves.
Or they just expect that people are going to throw themselves because they've won some comps or they've got their photo on the wall or whatever the deal is. So I think work ethic for sure. They don't understand what it takes to succeed. That comes down to programming from day one to where they are now. Goal setting. How many PTs will you sit with and go, what's your 12-month goal? What's your 3 months goals? Where are you at 6 months from now? How do you got to get there? How many people do you need to speak to get to that opportunity? So goal setting, I think, is a major one that's missing. What do you guys do for your goal setting?
I do my admin end of every week, as I'm sure most PTs would have to who have more than a client. Keep track of the session numbers, keep track of where we're at, but you essentially just keep track of what's my lead number in terms of how many new expressions of interest or how many people do I want to speak to, what happened as a result of that. And look, you're not always going to hit it, but are you doing the same things week in, week out when you're quiet, but also when you're busy?
Yep.
Because the whole process is the fact of never stop selling. And I think we could go into a fairly big depth, but we don't really need to do too much more of the conversation other than the be here thing.
Yep.
Like, there's a lot of us that are going to come into this that don't have skills in certain areas that you're going to develop purely by the practice of and making the mistakes, but you can't make those mistakes if you're not there. I mean, when I first started at the gym that I'm at currently now, I moved from a completely different location. I had no clients. I was there most days from 5:30 a.m. till 7:30 p.m. at night, often because I had a client in the morning and then I had a client late at night. There's no point in me going home because it was too far away. So I was forced to stay there and forced to do stuff.
Yep.
Slowly but surely it starts to pick up, starts to tick over. You're there all the time. Same thing right now. I'm in a new facility. I got the privilege of bringing most of my clients with me. That's great. But I've still got a gap tomorrow morning where I would normally have a few people that I don't. So what do? I'm going to be there.
Yep.
Doing my work, going to clean the gym floor, and I've been doing this for 12 years. Nothing's below me to do this. And that's why I'm going to last longer than someone who sits here and goes, and live that. I don't have to do that. Okay, bro.
Yep.
See ya.
100%, man. So 2-minute drill. We've got less than 2 minutes to go. Richo, top 2 winning points, top 2 things you would tell the next PT that lands in front of you to kick off their career.
Or get into a commercial gym and be there. Like, be there for a good, like I'm talking 40 hours, but that's the minimum. Like, be in there for a minimum of 40 hours a week, and you just watch what happens just from just being there. Do you know what I mean? The second one, realizing that, hey, like, you're not just going to be a trainer. You are running a business, and you are going to be a salesman. So while you're spending a lot of time on the training side of it, start trying to brush yourself up on being a salesman and a business owner, because that's exactly what you are as well.
Nice. Nate, last couple from you.
Go clean the gym floor, meet people, and have patience, because you are not going to get all your clients in the first week. You probably aren't even going to get them all in the first 6 months. Knowing what we know, it's probably not going to happen. Have patience.
Beauty. My couple before this dies is, before we wrap this up, is watch this video. We're going to try and do this every week. The shit you're going to pick up from here is definitely going to help you kick off and build your career in the right way. And if you're an established PT, you're going to pick up some things watching this. It's going to help you grow your business and become a better practitioner. On you, fellas. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
Look forward to doing this next week, and we'll just keep this going, eh?
Excellent. All right, boys.
Definitely.